Well, Trinity basketball fans, you would have been waiting a long time for this rematch with Schreiner after Schreiner came to this building and won a game that was part of a 3-game run between these two teams in which the Mountaineers took all 3 last season, knocking Trinity out of the SCAC tournament in the quarterfinals in the final game of that 3-game streak. But it's a new era under Coach Jimmy Smith. Trinity is leading the SCAC with a 6-1 record, and he's up against one of his former teams here. All kinds of narratives in play, and we're about to be in play as Abdullah Roberts in the starting lineup for Trinity, going to jump it off against Ryan Williams. And neither player able to control the tip. A.J. Clark, opportunistic as always, grabs the ball, and we're underway. Handoff to Enzo Seiki. Finds his fellow transfer Caleb Jenkins, who thought he would have had the first 2 points of the game, missed the layup, and the Mountaineers take it the other way. Both of these teams known for their defense. We'll see if that plays into this game. Schreiner in the top 10% in terms of defensive field goal percentage last season, amongst the country, by the way. As the first effort for Schreiner, no good. That was Chase Pinter off the mark. Seiki holds onto the ball, hands off to Clark. Coming off the screen, Ben Hanley. No good, way off. First-year player, Nicholas Van, getting a start here after contributing big minutes off the bench in most of Schreiner's very few games, in fairness, as there is Van for 3. Schreiner comes into this game 2-4, just 1-3 in conference. 2 of their games against the University of St. Thomas were non-conference affairs. They've had 6 games canceled due to weather or COVID, as Seiki pulls for 3, looking to answer, no good. And so it's been a very strange season for Coach Marwan El Rakabali, his second season in charge. Knows about the SCAC, playing 4 seasons with Birmingham Southern in his playing days. There's a lot more to navigate than just the SCAC this season. Nicholas Van on the dribble, spins, kicks it back out. Pinter gets the contact off Caleb Jenkins, and he'll head to the line to try and extend this early lead for the Mountaineers. Let's say not a shooting foul. Pinter, the senior, lobbies for it, and looks like they switched the call. The referee's not in agreement about what the call should have been. Chase Pinter, an exceptional free throw shooter, 87% on the season, contributing to 11 points per game. One of 4 players for the Mountaineers averaging double digits, with fellow starters De Hoyos, Rendall, and Ryan Williams, all above 10 a game. First one was good for Pinter. Second one's up and short. Lane violation called against A.J. Clark, and it'll stay with the Mountaineers. Maybe a harsh call, as it looked like Williams was also in the lane early, but Clark penalized here, and they'll do a retake for Pinter. Up and good. Makes no mistake with the second opportunity. Jenkins brings it forward. The New Orleans native out to Enzo Seiki. Abdullah Roberts. Top of the key, out to A.J. Clark. Wide open for 3, and it's good. The 3-ball falls for Clark, who fills the stat sheet every night, and he does it doing things like this. The steal into the 2 points. And we're all tied once again, defense to offense. That's the story of Trinity basketball this season under Coach Jimmy Smith. A.J. Clark epitomizing it there. Schreiner able to break the pressure this time. And they're relying a lot on first-year Nicholas Van in their offense. Had a strong effort to help them beat St. Thomas in that non-conference game as Pinter pulls for 3, and he answers. 8-5 now, Schreiner. In games that Schreiner have won, there have only been 2 of them this season, but Pinter has put up big numbers in both. If they can get him going, it'll bode well for some success in San Antonio tonight. Seiki, jab step, gets in the lane. Left-handed floater is good. Going back and forth here early on. Van to Sparks, into the game now. Back to Van. They find Pinter, skip pass all the way to Sparks. Fakes the shot, gets past A.J. Clark, back to Pinter. He's got the green light. This one comes up short, and a loose ball foul called against Dorian Williams. Pinter pulling early and often here for the Mountaineers. Senior out of Round Rock, Texas. He's done his time playing without the green light, and in his 4th season for the Mountaineers. Not afraid to take those looks. He's got Schreiner in front by 1 at the moment. Just over 3 minutes gone in the game. Abdullah Roberts in the high post. Backdoor cut by Jenkins. He's going to battle with Sparks, and he's going to get the foul. Sparks went straight up and then started to lean as Jenkins came into his body. Andrew Sparks' first foul, 2nd against the Mountaineers. Caleb Jenkins averages 4.6 free throws a game, making them at 72% on the season. First one's good. He's made such an impact, transferring in alongside Coach Smith, having worked together at Millsaps previously. And he's 2 for 2 after the kiss off the front rim aids him on the 2nd free throw. We saw quite a few 10-second violations in the women's game earlier caused by Trinity pressure. This time the Mountaineers are able to advance it. 30-plus turnovers for Schreiner in the women's side. And that led to just about a 30-point victory for the Tigers. Here's a chance for Dorian Williams to finish with authority as the lane opened up. And the first-year forward out of Austin, Texas said thank you very much. A little overzealous on the other end. He's called for a reach-in foul against Abdullah Roberts. If you're wondering why we aren't looking at the ferocious finish from Williams again, we've got concurrent events here on campus as Tiger baseball taking on Southwestern. Also available on the Tiger Network if you want to run a bit of split-screen action. Josh Muxagimba on the call for that non-conference matchup between 2 conference opponents. A.J. Clark receives it off the pass from Ben Hanley. Has a look at the rim, instead passes off to Jenkins. Roberts with 4 seconds on the shot clock, gets into the post, throws up the shot, and they're going to say offensive foul? Indeed. And it'll be a defensive foul, but we won't take it until after this quick break. Early lead to Schreiner, 10-9. You're watching the Tiger Network. .42 remaining in the first half here, and Schreiner out to the early advantage 10-9 off the back of 5 points from Chase Pinter. Trinity's 9 comes by way of 5 from Clark, 2 from Seiki, and 2 from Caleb Jenkins. No changes on the floor for Coach Smith as the starting 5 continues together, and it'll be Abdullah Roberts looking to regain the lead from the free throw stripe. 2 shots for the first-year guard out of Houston, Texas. Made his name against TLU earlier this season when he hit the buzzer beater game winner And he's earned Coach Smith's trust, worked his way into the starting lineup. And what is a very deep Tiger team. You'll see that as the game wears on. Jenkins caught wrong side of Sparks here. And the ball is dropped off to Alex De Hoyos. And he trips over one of the Trinity players who lost his footing. Stays with Schreiner, tie game. Handoff to Pinter, pulls from deep. And Pinter now 1 of 4. Jenkins looking to push it, finds Hanley in transition. Hanley, good move inside, and he was fouled. A big jump stop into the lane to create the space and work around the defender. And Ben Hanley earns himself 2 free throws. Andrew Sparks already with 2 fouls, and as you can see, he's just about ready to check out, avoid foul trouble. His substitute will be Mateus Reichardt-Bloom, first-year guard out of College Station. Bronson Evans also in for the first time for the Mountaineers. Hanley makes the second, and Trinity regains the lead, 11-10. Trap here at half court. Trinity looking to turn the Mountaineers over. Van able to keep it. And the Mountaineers now into their set. Fake pass, gets an open look, no good. Offensive rebound. And Jenkins stepped out trying to save that. Reichardt-Bloom with the miss, and it was recovered by Bronson Evans underneath. The 2 substitutes both immediately involved. And speaking of a substitute, Trinity would like to get involved. Tanner Brown, one of the best shooters in the conference this season, is now on the floor. De Hoyos pulls up from the elbow, comes up short. A.J. Clark, another rebound. A.J. Clark sees the court so well, and he finds Ben Hanley sprinting forward there. Hanley, though, as he went baseline, stepped out of bounds. Clark and Hanley played the most minutes per game this season by a considerable amount. 27 for Clark, 26 for Hanley. No one else over 23 as De Hoyos is called for a travel. The first 4 spots in that minutes per game, Clark, Hanley, Seki, and Jenkins have been consistent starters. Jenkins, with the exception of the first game, in which he came off the bench and added a spark. The 5th spot has been rotating between the likes of Tanner Brown, Jordan Lippman, Abdullah Roberts, all getting their opportunities. It was Roberts who started tonight. Trinity going to get this ball underneath after a foul. Inbounds comes to Tanner Brown. They get him into an area they like, that wing 3-pointer. Bounce pass from Seki looking for Clark. Broken up. And the Mountaineers go the other way. Hanley, strong defending here against Jones. Evans. Thought he got to his spot, but came up short on the jumper. Seki looks off the defender, gets the open look for 3, rolls it off the front of the rim. Both teams struggling. No field goals for Trinity in the last 3.5 minutes. Clark thought he had a clean block there. Referee disagrees, and De Hoyos will be headed to the free throw line. De Hoyos a chance here from the free throw line to regain the lead for Schreiner. He won't be able to do so as he misses the first. More subs into the game for the Mountaineers. Jalen Hutchinson and Brennan Ziner now into the game as Coach Rockabali using his bench early and often here. moment there. Trinity had 6 on the court, and both benches eager to make some noise about it. Trinity to fix the issue, and Schreiner to alert the referees. We've got a tied game after De Hoyos knocks down the second free throw. Jack Williams into the game for Trinity. Setting the screen here for Seiki. It's Donovan Givens on the dribble, now Hanley. Jack Williams has his pass intercepted, and it's Schreiner going the other way. Jalen Hutchinson has to pull up. Kicks it out to De Hoyos. Hanley manages to not foul him. It results in a three-pointer for Evans. It was no good. Offensive rebounds all over the place for the Mountaineers, and they still have it. De Hoyos from the free throw line. It won't go down, and Donovan Givens finally clears it for Trinity. And he throws it ahead, an aggressive pass in transition, but Reichardt Bloom knocks it out of play. Schreiner getting third and fourth chance opportunities that time without their main big in the game, Darian Williams. Littman checks in for the first time for Trinity. Almost forgets to take his mask off. Hanley, the only starter remaining for Trinity. He has the ball. Williams, top of the key, out to Littman. First touch for him. Goes through the legs. Back to Tanner Brown, out to Donovan Givens. Brown hits the deck. Givens steps back for three, too strong. And the rebound's cleared by Nicholas Van, who's back in the game. Ziner sets the off-ball screen. They want to get Van space. He's found the ball back to Ziner. His left-handed effort, no good. Low-scoring affair so far here in San Antonio. Hanley, wide open look for three. Can he hit? No, too strong. Open looks for both teams just aren't falling at the moment. As Ziner is going to be trapped in the corner here and manages to split the double team before Nicholas Van is called for a travel. Bench of Schreiner can't believe it as Jenkins checks back in for Trinity. Darian Williams, who has the highlight of the game so far, a ferocious dunked finish, is back in as well for the visitors. Jenkins, dribble handoff to Givens. Williams rips through. One dribble, finds Brown in the lane. Brown finishing through contact, and he'll head to the free throw line. 83% on the season, averaging just under one trip to the line per game. And we will see those free throws when we return. Low-scoring defensive affair so far between Trinity and Schreiner, locked at 11 apiece with 11 and change left in the half. Tanner Brown to the free throw line. Looking to put Trinity back in front. Trinity in the single bonus for the remainder of the half. Might see quite a bit of this. We've already seen Trinity shoot 6 free throws. Going to be 7 and 8 here from the freshman. He knocks down the first. 2 of 2 at the line for Tanner Brown. The hometown hero continues to make an impact in his first year on campus. Big dunk for Schreiner. That's the second one already. That time it was Brennan Ziner finishing with authority. Trinity has to be a little more careful, and that time they were careless with the ball. Ziner going the other way again, this time looking to evade Williams and finish. His shot was no good, and Trinity are going to be headed to the line for free throws as Aries Frederick committed the foul. Jenkins to the line. Schreiner have definitely brought the intensity on defense. When Williams has had the ball at the top of the key, it's been tough for him to find a teammate, as the first of the one-on-one is no good, and Schreiner controls the rebound. Van shown some good quickness as well as shooting ability early on. Here's DeRyan, straightaway three, no good. Rebound controlled by Donovan Givens. Had to fight off a couple of his own teammates there to secure the board. Brown into the corner for Lippman. Lippman pulls it out. He wants to go one-on-one with his defender. Gets the first attempt up, no good. Second attempt, the same, as Lippman maybe could have brought that one down on the second attempt. Had more space than he realized. Van, quick feet from him. Now he's doubled by Jenkins and Lippman. Lippman trying to run all the way across the court to mark the open three. Frederick couldn't knock it down. And once again, Aries Frederick called for a foul in the backcourt against Jenkins. We'll try this one more time. Jenkins to the line. Still 1-on-1. The Tigers are not in the double bonus just yet. Frederick has to sit down. There are two quick fouls. Rendall comes back in, the starter, for DeRyan. The effort from 15 feet away, no good for Jenkins. Two straight trips, 0 for 1. Pinter back in the game. Into the corner for an open teammate, but Andrew Sparks couldn't knock it down. And Trinity commit a foul underneath, trying to grab the rebound. No free throws yet for the Mountaineers as we approach 10 minutes to go in the half. Trinity shooting 27%, 3 of 11 from the floor. Schreiner shooting 21%, 4 of 19 from the floor. It hasn't been a shooting gallery so far, to say the least. Jenkins with a big block, playing way above his size there against Nicholas Van. Going the other way for Donovan Givens, and the flashy finish. That's something we know we'll always get from this Trinity team, is good defense, a lot of times leading to good offense. Lippman using his length there to poke it away from Van. And a big collision as the entry pass went down low for Rendall. And he got the shot up over Williams, who's called for the foul. Looks like the foul went against Brown. Either way, 2 shots for Rendall for the shooting foul. First one is good. He's got a chance to tie it up once again here as we're under 10. Schreiner were 11-16 a year ago, 8-10 in conference. That was good enough for the 4 seed in the tournament. 2 of those conference wins coming against Trinity in the final 2 regular season games. And then they also knocked them out in the quarterfinal. Returning players for Trinity will really want this one. Last touch off Tanner Brown. He can't believe it. It's going back the other direction now. Two teams faring very differently this season as Williams takes the charge. Not a ton of contact, but he got in the right place at the right time and drew the contact. Offensive foul. Schreiner find themselves 7th in the SCAC at the moment, looking to avoid being the one team that doesn't make the conference tournament. Of the 9 squads, 8 will at least play one game in the quarterfinals. Williams rips through, finds himself stuck in the lane, kicks out to Tanner Brown, usually a bucket, and he is this time as well. One of the premier shooters in the SCAC. Knocks down a corner 3 there. Trap at midcourt. Trinity can't come away with the ball. Sparks on the dribble against Lippman, and a foul called off the ball, I think against Jack Williams. I'll give it against Givens. Enzo Seiki will come in. Jack Williams comes out. Substitutions have been a problem early in this game for Trinity. Caleb Jenkins looking to get in the way, and he does just enough. The number 5 forces the 5-second violation. Ball back with the Tigers, leading by 3. As we mentioned, Schreiner looking to avoid finishing bottom of the conference. That spot currently occupied by an 0-6 Colorado College team. University of Dallas with 8 games played, the most of anybody, is behind Schreiner, who've only played 4 conference games. So these games mean a lot to Schreiner, and they mean a lot to Trinity if they're going to stay on top of the SCAC. Currently in that spot on win percentage, as they've played 1 less than the teams that are also on 6 wins, Centenary and St. Thomas. That 3 no good for Trinity. Good handles going the other way, and the offensive rebound for Hutchinson. Couldn't get it to go. Lippman, shot fake, has it poked away, and it's controlled by Schreiner. Good defense continuing for both teams. Schreiner now down below 20% from the floor. 5 of 6 on free throws, keeping them in it at the moment. Tanner Brown, I believe, called for his 2nd foul. We'll see. Nope. Given 2nd foul. Ashton Owens and Ben Hanley in now for Coach Smith. He looks to find the offensive answer. First of the 1-on-1 is good for Rendall. And Mason Roberts will take Tanner Brown's place. That's a very different look. Coach Smith turning to one of his bigs as Rendall knocks down both. Now 3 points, 4 points, all from the free throw line. Roberts, top of the key. Wide open, Ben Hanley underneath. Evades the contact, and he gets the friendly roll off the front of the rim. First bucket for Hanley. Good find underneath. Sparks to Zeiner for 2. Lead is back to 1. Hanley to Roberts. Seiki gets it back from Roberts. He's stuck baseline. Ashton Owens to Hanley, who fakes the pass to Jenkins and drives himself. Couldn't get it to go. De Hoyos doing it himself here on this possession and using the glass to restore the lead for the Mountaineers. The 2 number 5s operating against each other here, Jenkins and De Hoyos. Roberts fakes the screen, look to go inside. Owens finishing through all kinds of contact and count the basket. A difficult finish for the first-year guard out of Trinity, Alabama. And he'll shoot one when we return 22-21 Trinity. And what's been a back and forth, low-scoring affair so far. You're watching the Tiger Network. One free throw for Ashton Owens to look to complete the three-point play. No changes to the lineup for Coach Smith out of the media timeout. Owens unable to do 3 points the old-fashioned way. De Hoyos controls for the Mountaineers. Good work underneath to get position from Rendall, and Roberts did enough to force a bad shot in the end. Jenkins, good look from the left wing for three, too strong. Rebound chased down by Enzo Seiki. Had the screen option from Roberts, didn't need it as he goes himself, spins, and wins. Seiki finishing at the cup. And Roberts will claim he was straight up. But Nicholas Van drawing the contact there on the shot. The first-year guard playing in his hometown. Graduate of Warren High School. Then averaging almost 8 points a game on the season. And shooting 70% from the free throw line coming into tonight. First one was no good, second one does fall. Jenkins to Hanley. Ashton Owens still has his dribble, hasn't used it yet. Now he does, going to his right, look to kick it all the way to the opposite corner for Hanley. Had his pass intercepted. Schreiner, can they tie it up here? Van looked to drive, but he traveled. Coach El Rockabali not pleased with the call. Jenkins brings it forward for Trinity. Passes off to Roberts, gets it back. Now Seiki looking to get position in the post. Skip pass all the way to the opposite corner for Hanley. To Owens for three, too strong. Jenkins called for a push off as he fought for a position on the offensive glass. Didn't see a ton of contact there. Ninth foul against Trinity in the quarter. Excuse me, in the half. Two shots for De Hoyos. Make it 1-1. Confusion reigns amongst the officiating crew here. De Hoyos no good, and the 1-and-1 switch turns profitable for the home team. Seiki wanted the dribble handoff to Owens, but Owens was well defended by Van. Now Hanley at the Tiger logo midcourt. Finds its way to Seiki from Roberts. Seiki gonna have to go to ground here to win it back, as Van had a hand on it while he had a foot out of bounds. Stays with Trinity. And Jalen White comes in for the Tigers. Caleb Jenkins to the bench. I'll tell you, nobody is near their pace for season points average. I think I got those words in the wrong order. As Seiki pulls for the long two, comes up short. It's a very low-scoring game, as we're just about 5 minutes to go in the first half. And a lot of it's being played at the free throw line for Schreiner. 8 of their 22 points come from the stripe. They're 8 of 11. And for Trinity, a quarter of their 24. They're 6 of 11. Dorian Williams misses the first. Dorian Williams just at 10 points a game for the season. Also adds 4 boards. Didn't add any points to the score that time, though. To 0 of 2 at the line. Abdullah Roberts back in for Trinity. Here he is on the left wing. Looks to go at himself, and he's still got the ball underneath. In amongst the trees down there for Schreiner, and finishing through contact is Hanley. Thought he might get a kind bounce that time on the acrobatic finish. Nonetheless, it'll be 2 shots for the junior guard at a Flower Mound. Knocks down the first. Biggest lead for Trinity has been 3 points on quite a few different occasions. Chance to make it 4 for the first time tonight. Tanner Brown is back in for the home team as Hanley does go 2 for 2. Jalen White is the one pressuring Nicholas Mann here in the Schreiner backcourt. Saw some big dunk attempts from White in the warm-up. Some of them successful, some of them not. And that one kisses off the glass for Bronson Evans. Not sure that's how he drew it up, but nonetheless, a 3-pointer off the glass. Not something you see every day. Here's Roberts. Hands off to Brown, who hands off to Seiki. Spacing not quite where it needs to be for Trinity at the moment as Seiki turns, drops it back off to Abdullah Roberts, who looked to respond in turn by banking one off the glass from 3. And we'll see what the referees come up with here as Jalen White dove to the floor. We'll see. We'll leave it for some suspense. 4 minutes to play here in the first half, 26-25 Trinity. You're watching the Tiger Network. 3:58 to go, and it's going to be Trinity ball from the baseline here. As Ben Hanley stands on the Y in Trinity. Also running concurrently on the Tiger Network is baseball against Southwestern. Foul here drawn by Jalen White. He'll head to the line. That one also available on the Trinity YouTube page, the Tiger Network. If you want to run split screen action, that is 3-1 to the Tigers in the bottom of the 8th. Rafe Chamet currently at the plate for the home team. Plenty of excitement around Trinity baseball this season as they got a ton of players back using the extra year of eligibility from the lost season. And a ton of excitement around Trinity basketball as they are better than they've been in a long time. Second free throw is good for Jalen White. He's perfect at the line. He's providing the pressure here against Van, who brings it up the court for the visitors. Pinter back in the game, took a ton of early shots and had this shot blocked by Seiki. Seiki, though, being trapped here and tied up by Pinter. Surprised maybe that Trinity didn't opt to use a timeout there, but perhaps saving it for a different occasion. It'll be Schreiner ball, as they had the possession arrow. Van to inbound. Referees, again, not really sure what they're calling out there. No 30 on the floor for either team, but either way, results in 2 points for the Mountaineers. Seiki's block not profitable for the home team. Here he is popping up underneath the basket, looking to spin and get to the cup, and the tip-in is good. I believe that was Abdullah Roberts. We'll see who they give that one to, who got the hand on it. Van gets it back off the handoff. Good finish from him, and it would have gone in if not for the foul. Seen some good athletic, acrobatic finishes from Van, from Hanley, evading contact. Van can draw the Mountaineers within one here as the first half winds down. Second free throw on its way from Van. And it is good. Schreiner averaging 77 a game this season. Trinity averaging 70. Both teams make it difficult for the opposition in terms of their defensive numbers, as Givens is going to pull for three. It's an open look, and it's off to the right. Abdullah Roberts secures the offensive rebound. Tanner Brown in the game for Trinity, and shot clock needed to be reset. The one benefit of not having any fans is I don't have to live life confused. I can actually hear what the officials are saying most of the time. Of course, we'd love to have a packed CalGuard gymnasium. Sure, they would love to see this team do what they do in person. 5 seconds on the shot clock here for Roberts as he spins inside the paint, and opportunistic for Ben Hanley, who knew the shot clock was winding down, caught the air ball miss by Roberts and was able to finish it himself. Givens defending that time, and Roberts secures the rebound. Was working against Rindall that time, did well defensively. Here's Roberts, onto the right hand, has it blocked by Rindall. And now Pinter goes the other way, pass into Van, wants to drop it off, and it's good basketball from Schreiner. Rindall finishing it. Schreiner back within one. Hanley to White. His pass stolen away from Roberts before Roberts fights to win it back. Rendon nearly had a fast break opportunity. Roberts doing just enough. Here's Givens. Jalen White needs to get a shot up. 4 seconds on the shot clock as Roberts steps back for three and almost got the kind bounce. Front rim, backboard, front rim. Schreiner basketball. De Hoyos finds some space and traveled. Needed an extra step there to complete the play. And I wonder if there's something going on with A.J. Clark. Leads the team in minutes a game, and we have not seen him since the, at least 10, 15 minutes ago. Littman back in for Trinity alongside Ben Hanley. And Roberts is fouled by Pinter, who heads straight to the bench in frustration. Not a huge worry, it's just his first personal. We're under a minute to go here in the first half. Tanner Brown knocks it down. 6 points now for the hometown kid. Make it 7. Including one of Trinity's 2 3-pointers made. Pinter goes baseline, and he's able to score despite Trinity resistance. 1-point game once again. Tigers have held a slender advantage a majority of this half. Givens gets him with the shot fake and draws contact on his drive. He'll head to the line. Foul goes against Brendan Ziner. Second foul against the Burleson High School graduate. Givens' first free throw rims out. 10 of 15 from the free throw line for Schreiner. 12 of 17, now 13 of 18 for Trinity. As a lot of the latter part of this first half has been played at the free throw line. Hanley gets a tip on that pass. De Hoyos tracks it down. And De Hoyos with some sweet feet and good handles to match as he gets to the rim, and eventually the play is finished off by Ziner. Coach Smith will take a timeout as the game is all tied with 11.6 seconds to go here, and we'll see what he can draw up in the 30-second timeout. Meanwhile, we'll take a look at the team comparison statistically. Schreiner shooting 33%, 11 of 13. Trinity 34%, 10 of 29. Both teams dismal from behind the arc. 3 of 11 for the Mountaineers, 2 of 12 for Trinity. Pretty equal on turnovers as well. 7 for the visitors, 8 for the home team. Statistics nearly identical up and down the stat sheet. And thus, 35 apiece here coming out of the timeout. Trinity with a chance to regain the lead they've held for a majority of tonight's matchup. They've got 11.6 seconds to do so. Hanley into Givens at the high post. Givens underneath to Littman, and De Hoyos was coming from behind, couldn't do anything about it. Jordan Littman for 2. Well executed out of the timeout. Schreiner will look to do the same, but with much less time on the clock, just 2.5 seconds to go. Coach El Rakabali will draw something up for the Mountaineers to try and draw level once again. The epic music coming over the speakers here in Calgard Gymnasium. As we do have a entertaining showdown here of 2 teams playing each other very tough. And on the A.J. Clark front, I do not see him in the team huddle. And if he is in fact out for this game, that would be a huge blow for Trinity, who find themselves in a tough matchup here. It's going to be a tough ask for Schreiner coming out of the timeout, who will have 2.5 seconds to go from baseline to bucket. They can't advance it. Conversation between the Schreiner bench and the refereeing crew. And there's a pause here in the action. And after checking the video, they're going to add 1.2 seconds to the clock. So now 3.7 for Schreiner, who can tie it or regain the lead. Instead, they throw it away, and Lippman throws it up all the way across court. And from my angle, it looked online. I think it was off to the right. Either way, Trinity holds a 2-point lead, as they had for a majority of the half. 37-35 is the score as we head to the break. And we'll be back in 15 minutes for the second half of action. You're watching the Tiger Network. So Trinity will have a 2-point lead and the ball to start the second half. And good news for Tiger fans is that A.J. Clark is back out on the floor. Didn't see him for a majority of the first half, but he's back out there now, along with the rest of tonight's starters. We'll also start the second half. We're back underway here in what was a low-scoring affair. Relatively, it was a poor shooting affair at the very least, as Seiki gets the runner to go in the lane. Schreiner shooting 33%, and with that make Trinity now up to 36%, but there were spells when both teams were in the low 20s, and free throw shooting really helping out, and that'll help out as well from Darian Williams, who hits the three. Schreiner back within one. Jenkins looking to split the gap and drops it off to Abdullah Roberts, and this is more like it in terms of shooting from the floor and not just from the free throw line. It's what the neutral fans will love to see, both teams with a fast start to the second half. Van swings it around to Sparks. Williams working down low, comes up short with the hook, and Trinity looking to push it. Clark into the corner, Roberts takes shot, and there was a shot clock malfunction again. Not the first, second, or a third time that's happened tonight. And the button's just a little sticky to reset the 30. Trinity will have 18 to shoot here as they inbound to Abdullah Roberts on the right wing. Left-handed dribble, waist high. Into Seiki at the elbow. Screen from Seiki for Clark. Took a ginger step there. Maybe I'm just reading into things a little too much as Caleb Jenkins came flying in, trying to secure the offensive board. Clark on the closeout here as Van steps into the three and knocks it down. Schreiner back in front. No, even, excuse me, 41 apiece. Clark to Jenkins. Fakes the three, fakes the step back, does step back to pass it off to Roberts, who takes the three off the front of the rim. And no friendly roll that time. Here's Pinter, 2 of 6 from the floor in the first half, 1 of 4 from 3 for the senior. Got off to a hot start with his 2 makes and then 4 straight misses the rest of the way. Clark rips that one away from Van and is looking to press. Going the other way, Hanley through traffic. And a smooth finish for Ben Hanley, getting to the rim and finishing with the left hand. Sparks to Pinter in the corner. Sparks gets Ben Hanley up in the air. Pinter looks to take advantage with a 3, and he does. And now Schreiner's in front, 44-43. Good ball movement as well to take advantage of Hanley up in the air. Trinity will need to respond. They've only got 2 points out of Caleb Jenkins before that. Now make it 5. He says, you look down at your stats. I'll knock this one through the hoop. The deep ball for Jenkins. And a carry against Nicholas Van. Trinity in front by 2 with the ball. Same way we started the half. Jenkins, waist-high dribble, wants another 3, pulls from straight away, downtown, Caleb Jenkins back-to-back. And the biggest lead of the night for the Tigers comes from Caleb Jenkins. He's brought the energy and he's brought the scoring here in the second half. Van with the dangerous pass to Pinter, tipped away by A.J. Clark, and the energy is coming from the Trinity bench at the moment. De Hoyos, who started the game but did not start the second half, comes in now. The junior guard trying to provide some experience out on the floor as the Mountaineers need to stop this run. 6-0 run provided by Caleb Jenkins in the last 40 seconds. Van steps back with the left and no good. After the crossover, Jenkins pushing it to Seiki in transition, and Ben Hanley with the finish, and the Tigers are running the floor here. And Schreiner can't keep up. Roberts called for a foul. He thought he had a clean rip of Dorian Williams on the baseline. That'll stem the flow, at least for a moment, as Schreiner will regroup and have an inbounds play after this timeout. An 8-0 run for Trinity, and they find themselves out in front by 7 points. Biggest lead of the night for the Tigers. You're watching the Tiger Network. We'll be right back. Schreiner ball from underneath the basket here. And it'll be Nicholas Van to inbound as Trinity have built a 7-point lead quickly here to start the second half. Van needs to get it inbounds and eventually does find Reichardt Blue. De Hoyos crossing over onto the right hand, tries to dump it off for Dorian Williams. Pass broken up. Hanley going coast to coast through traffic, grabs his own rebound and says, "Look what I found," and puts it back through the hoop for a 9-point advantage. Ben Hanley's shown some real quickness to get out on the break, and he's been adept at finishing around the defense as Dorian Williams commits an offensive foul that time against Roberts, slaps the ball away in frustration. And I'm surprised there was nothing else against Williams for that slap. Maybe they'll say it was incidental. But either way, it's Dorian Williams' 4th foul, and we won't be seeing much of him, at least for a while, as there's 15 minutes, 55 seconds to go in the second half, and Trinity leads 53-44. Good news for Tiger fans as Trinity Baseball closes out a 3-1 victory over Southwestern over on the baseball field. That follows up an 84-56 victory by the Trinity women's basketball team against Schreiner. And the men looking to make it 3 of 3 on the night here on campus. Currently in control, 53-44. After a strong start to the second half. Seiki back to Jenkins, pulls for 3, and almost got the bounce. Roberts following it up, and it's going to be tied up down low. Schreiner ball. Possession arrow to Trinity for next time. De Hoyos brings it into the front court for Schreiner. Pinter against Clark. Pinter pulls on the long three. Good. He's got range. And you don't want him to get going if you're Trinity. That snaps the 10-0 run. And it's back within 6. A.J. Clark gets to his strong hand, the left hand, and draws the contact from Pinter. He'll head to the line. Clark currently 5 points on 2 of 2 shooting, including 1 3-pointer, 3 boards and an assist. Hasn't played his customary minutes as he wasn't involved heavily in the first half. He's at just 11 minutes so far, averages 27 a game. Could still get there almost in theory, but have to imagine he'll finish below that average for the year. If you're just tuning in, you don't know necessarily the stakes of this game. Trinity comes in leading the SCAC and looking to remain on top, currently on top of University of St. Thomas and Centenary by win percentage. All tied on 6 wins, Trinity having played 1 less game. And for Schreiner, they're looking to avoid finishing in the cellar and missing out on the conference tournament. Only the 9th place team will not participate in the postseason this year in the revised tournament, which will see the top 4 seeds host the quarterfinals. We hope we'll get both Trinity men's and women's playoff action as Hanley goes coast to coast and his shot's blocked by Rindle. It'll stay with Trinity though. We hope we'll get those playoff matchups here this coming weekend on the Tiger Network as they switch the call to Schreiner ball. 8-point advantage now for the home team. De Hoyos gets the ball back from Rindal, kicks it out to Pinter, rips through A.J. Clark and finishes at the rim. Chase Pinter starting to heat up here in the second half. Roberts back to Clark. Screen from Abdullah Roberts. Jenkins thought about the 3. His opposite number 5 was in his face and he was unable to pull. Seiki was double teamed there as he tried to spin to the rim. And it's a turnover. And that early momentum from the Jenkins 3-pointer seems to have faded here. Schreiner looking to get back into the game. Seiki called for a foul that time against Rindal down low. Pinter, who was the hot hand, goes to the bench with 15 points, 3 boards, and 2 assists. He's replaced by Bronson Evans. Reichardt Bloom, entry pass into Rindal, goes baseline, kicks it out for 3. De Hoyos takes the extra step in the lane, and the space opened up for Rindal to get the offensive rebound and the putback. Lead down to 4 for Trinity. Jenkins, cross-court pass to Hanley. First step is inside, kicks it out to Seiki, opposite corner for 3, too strong. Of 2 from 3 so far for Enzo Seiki, 8 points in the game. Hand in the face for Rindal. It was Abdullah Roberts providing the pressure and forcing the miss. Roberts managed to hold his plant foot that time and not travel, and Seiki draws contact. They turn the ball out of bounds here. Jalen Hutchinson into the game for Rindal. As a visibly frustrated coach for Schreiner, Coach El Rakabali, in constant dialogue with the officials tonight as Trinity commits another turnover. No field goals in the last 2:42 since Hanley finished at the rim on the fast break. Jenkins here against De Hoya. Stops in the lane. And the pull-up jumper from just inside the free throw line is good for Bronson Evans. 2-point lead now for Trinity. And that hard work that gave them up to a 9-point advantage moments ago is now evaporated. A.J. Clark counting the basket and one. And you saw David Nickel in his trademark cowboy boots stomping on the floor there. He's injured for this game, but he's providing what he can. Energy off the bench. Supporting A.J. Clark there as he breaks or ends the drought of almost 3 minutes for Trinity. Clark completes the three-point play off the front of the rim and is replaced by Tanner Brown. Both coaches seem to be eager to take off a player when they get hot. Probably just a product of their usual rotation. As Williams is back into the game as well for Coach Smith. Coach Smith, as I mentioned earlier, spent 2 seasons at Schreiner, was involved in their first ever winning season as an NCAA program. That was in 2013-2014. And Seiki called for a blocking foul underneath. I think he was in the restricted area. It's an and one for Schreiner. And it's Bronson Evans on the line. Second foul against Seiki. Conversation continuing between the Schreiner bench and the refereeing crew. Evans responds to A.J. Clark's three-point play with one of his own, and it's back to 2, where it's been for a majority of this game. Trinity leading by 2. Jack Williams, straightaway 3, wide open, comes up way short. Not his forte, shooting the 3-ball, but it was too open to turn down. Pinter has had the hot hand as of late in the second half. Passes it off to Van. Make it to Hoyos, sorry. De Hoyos takes the lefty jumper and it comes off the left side of the rim. Hanley flashing some of his handles and drawing the foul and drawing the media timeout under 12. Trinity right where we left them at the halftime break, up 2. It's now 58-56, 11:55 to go in the game.
So it'll be Trinity ball out of bounds from the timeout here, as Hanley drew the foul prior to the timeout. They wanted to get Roberts open for three. Pinter stuck to his task defensively. And Hutchinson called for a foul. And the pass into Williams underneath. Quick stoppage as the referee needed to announce the number of the offending player, 33. Seiki gets some space out of the inbounds play and can't get it to go through contact. He'll have a chance to reach double digits in the game if he knocks down both of these free throws. Hasn't attempted any as of yet. Hutchinson, 2 quick fouls for him, and he's now got 3. Some slight foul trouble for the bigs of Schreiner. As Dorian Williams, the starting forward, is on the bench with 4 fouls. And now Hutchinson has 3, so he's replaced by Rindle, another starting forward, the senior from Kyle, Texas. Seiki made the first and the second. So he's into double figures. And the Trinity lead is doubled to 4 points. Trinity defending right up to that half-court line. Now drop into their usual defensive set. Jenkins against Van. Williams switches on to him. And that leaves Hanley in a mismatch underneath, but he did really well just to go straight up and affect the shot. Jenkins going coast to coast. Does he get the bounce? No. Explosiveness on display that time from Jenkins, but he couldn't get the finish. He's defending now against Van, who traveled. And Schreiner can't believe it. "11 minutes to go, and what has been a closely contested SCAC matchup between potential opponents in the quarterfinals. They were last year in very different circumstances. This year it will be 1 against 8, 2 against 7. Right now it's Trinity in the 1 spot, Schreiner in the 7, and it's Pinter. Way too strong on the 3. And Andrew Sparks commits the foul, trying to get the offensive rebound. That puts Trinity into the bonus with over 10 to go. We saw this in the first half. It turned into a free throw shooting gallery. Schreiner currently at 11 of 16, Trinity at 18 of 24 from the stripe. Sends Hanley to the line. First one is good, so we'll get a second opportunity. Brown is back into the game for Trinity alongside Williams, Seiki, Hanley, and Jenkins. 2 of 2 at the line. You got a feeling that needs to continue for Trinity to remain in control of this game, already in the bonus. Jenkins against De Hoyos. Kicks it to Pinter. And the ball was lost there, but recovered by Bronson Evans, and it's still loose underneath. Evans is in space, and he just can't hold the ball. That was actually Darian Jones who eventually turned it over. Bronson Evans and Jones both struggling to hold on to it underneath the basket, so the Trinity lead stays at 6. Jenkins, bounce pass into Williams. Fakes the jumper. Instead finds Seiki out on the right wing. Screen for Seiki. Step back, long 2 off the front of the rim. Jumper hasn't been falling for Enzo Seiki. He's now 4 of 10 and 0 of 3 from behind the arc. Good speed that time shown by De Hoyos to get past Williams and finish through contact, lead down to 4. Hanley, dribble, waist high on the left wing. Tanner Brown draws contact, and he's headed to the line. It's a blocking foul against Pinter. It's a pretty strong coming together between the two teams. I was a little worried they were going to point the other way. Tanner Brown with 7 points so far on 1 of 2 shooting. Both were 3-pointers, 4 of 4 from the line. Risky play here for Schreiner as they send Dorian Williams back in, 1 foul away from having to sit the rest of the game on the bench. 1 of 1 here for Tanner Brown. And he's now 5 of 5 from the line tonight. Two of 2 at the line. Trinity shooting free throws well in the past few minutes, keeping Schreiner at arm's length. Jordan Littman back in the game up against De Hoyos. De Hoyos stops in the lane, kicks it out. Dribble lost that time by Darian Jones, and it ends up back in the waiting hands of De Hoyos. Jumper in the lane, off to the right. Rebound secured by Littman. Trinity looked to run the floor. Hanley splitting the double team. Williams underneath, can't get it to go. And Schreiner goes the other way. De Hoyos seeing all of the ball at the moment for the visitors, and he spins and he's fouled as he looked to scoop and score that time. Fifth team foul against Trinity in the half. So they're 1 away, I believe, from the bonus. Are the Mountaineers. Last season, I mentioned earlier, ranked in the top 10% of all D3 teams in the country in terms of field goal percentage defense, and 6th nationally in defending 3-pointers. They've held Trinity to 4 of 18 from behind the arc, so that's held true. Schreiner themselves 7 of 17, just above 40% on the long ball. Second free throw is good. Hanley, Littman, and that time it was Roberts who couldn't corral it, and Dorian Williams got the steal, and Rendall gets the bucket. Lead is cut to 2. I was about to take you through who's on the floor for Trinity. It's Givens, Roberts, Littman, Hanley, and Brown for another untimely turnover by the home team. Hanley swings it across to Littman, drops it off to Givens. Fakes left, goes right, jump stop into the post, and stolen away from him by Matthew Rendall. As we approach 8 minutes to go, timeout is imminent. We'll see who's leading at that break as Pinter gets to the rim. Thought he was fouled. Has to be careful not to foul going the other way, as Trinity are already in the bonus. Roberts kicks out to Givens. Brown. Roberts from just outside the 3-point line on the right wing. Hanley, left-handed dribble, slashing across the lane. 5 seconds to shoot. Littman pulls for 3, and he knocks it down. A big bucket for Jordan Littman. And we will take that timeout, and Trinity will take a 5-point lead into the break. Jordan Littman with a huge shot for Coach Jimmy Smith's team there. Trinity leading 67-62, and they're led by Ben Hanley with 15 points on 5 of 10 shooting, 5 of 6 on free throws with 7 rebounds as well. Others in double digits, A.J. Clark with 10 points on a perfect 3 of 3 shooting, and Enzo Seiki also a 10 on 4 of 10. Tanner Brown closing in on double digits with 9 points, including 6 of 6 from the free throw line for Schreiner. Pinter leads the way with 15. Rendall adds 12. And Evans on 8. A couple in foul trouble for the Mountaineers. Williams and Sparks both with 4. As the two teams retake the court here. And Trinity lead by 5 after Littman knocked down a big 3 late in the shot clock before the timeout. Williams, De Hoyos, Pinter, Reichter, Bloom, and Rendall on the floor for the Mountaineers. Here's Williams, remember, playing with 4 fouls. Has it stolen away from him by Littman. And they call a foul against Williams, and his game will be done for pushing Clark off the court. So Williams will exit the game with 5 points on 2 of 4 shooting, 1 of 2 from behind the arc, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Only played 14 minutes. He's been averaging over 18, and he's been averaging 10 points as well. So big miss for him, dealing with foul trouble throughout the night. And A.J. Clark now with the luxury of being able to miss the first free throw, does so. But he'll still get the second opportunity, as it's now double bonus for the home team. Clark long on the first one, short on the second. And his perfect shooting night is no longer. Jenkins back on the floor for Trinity. Working against De Hoyos. Good entry feed down low, and spinning and winning at the cup is Rendall. 14 points now for him. 8 boards to go alongside it. And a 3-point game here in Calgar Gymnasium. A.J. Clark, crossover behind the back, loses a hold, and we'll see which way the referee points. It's kind to Trinity. It'll stay Tiger ball with 20 seconds to shoot. Jenkins to inbound, just goes to Littman. Littman rips through, gets to the right hand, scoops, and can't quite get it to go. Comes off the front of the rim. And the Mountaineers will take it going the other way. Jenkins knew from the moment as he reached in, got his hand caught in the cookie jar. Commits his 3rd foul. Uncharacteristically, no steals tonight for Jenkins. Usually such an active defender, and he has been tonight. Also has 1 block. But he's limited the turnovers, usually averaging around 3 a game. Just 1 today as he's contesting that 3 in the corner, and it's no good for Bronson Evans. Thrown ahead to Jenkins himself. And I think he draws a goaltending. Count in the basket for Jenkins. As Bronson Evans came back, tried to make the block, slapped the back of the backboard, and shook the basket. Can't do that. So it'll count for Jenkins, who's now in double figures with 10 points on 2 of 4 shooting. De Hoyos to Pinter, 15 for him in the game. An ill-advised pass into the lane, and now Trinity can go the other way. Jenkins gets to the right hand, but he doesn't get the roll. A.J. Clark, offensive rebound, can't get the bounce, gets it back himself, and he kicks out for Tanner Brown for 3! Yes, sir, Tanner Brown, the 3rd chance opportunity there for Trinity, and they take it to extend the lead to 8. Schreiner just couldn't get a hold of the loose ball there after A.J. Clark missed the follow-up. Jenkins' 4th foul committed the other trip down the floor. He's going to have to be careful. Well, he won't have to be careful. He'll have to sit down as Hanley comes back in. Unfortunate, as Jenkins was really getting into the game and did get his first steal, just as I mentioned it.
Earlier I mentioned that he wasn't scoring, and he knocked down back-to-back three-pointers. He's got all the answers, but he's also got 4 fouls, so he'll take a seat as the first free throw is no good for Schreiner. Trinity can try and build on this 8-point advantage. Jordan Littman, the one in control. Behind the back dribble, onto the left hand, finds A.J. Clark. Donovan Givens, straight away. Hanley's pass into Clark, tipped the one-handed effort back to Hanley. And last touch off of Rendall. It'll stay Trinity ball. That was almost a very nice give and go between the starting Trinity backcourt, Hanley and Clark. Inbound to A.J. Clark. Entry pass into the post for Donovan Givens. Fade away, comes off the backboard and in. Trinity building the lead at the right time. Their biggest of the night is 10 points. Immediately answering Alex De Hoyos. Brings it back to 8, 74-66. Under 5 to play. A.J. Clark, spin around on the dribble, takes it himself to the rim, and the left-handed lay-in is simple as can be. Last touch off the Mountaineers, and the Tiger momentum is paying dividends here late in the game. A.J. Clark didn't play a huge role in the first half. We didn't see him a ton, but he's coming up big here in the second. The junior from Johnson High School, local to the area. Now with 12 points on 4 of 5 shooting, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Givens now. Between the legs, spins, gets onto his right hand. Maybe should have gone with the left. Rebound secured by Pinter. Takes a bump from Jordan Littman there as he dumps it off to De Hoyos. De Hoyos shooting over Littman, off to the right, as you'd expect. Littman, incredible length and the height advantage as well. Pinter called for a block, a ton of contact in that. And that'll be yet another Schreiner player in foul trouble. 4 now for their leading scorer on the night, Chase Pinter. And as we reach 4 minutes, this will be the final media timeout. Trinity have built a 10-point advantage. We'll see if they can close it out in just a moment. So Trinity looking for revenge for back-to-back-to-back defeats to this Schreiner team at the end of last season that ultimately ended their 2020 campaign. Are in pole position to do just that with a 10-point advantage here. 4 minutes to go. Still plenty of time for the Mountaineers, but some of their key contributors in foul trouble or already fouled out in the case of Darian Williams. It'll be an uphill battle for the Mountaineers. It'll be a tough climb for the Mountaineers. Some type of mountaineering joke is in there somewhere. Littman at the line.
Jordan Littman at the line.
Big free throws here. Nearly gets the kind bounce as he was too strong off the back of the rim. The junior out of Round Rock High School in Austin, Texas, goes 1 of 2 at the line. 77-66 now for the Tigers. Hanley, Clark, Seiki, Littman, and Brown on the floor for Coach Smith. And De Hoyos to the line for Coach L. Rockabali. First foul against Littman in the game.
Schreiner just 1-3 in conference, having had 6 games canceled. Every game weighted more heavily for them in terms of the postseason seeding, considering they've only got a maximum of 6 conference games that will count to their games against St. Thomas non-conference affairs. As Tanner Brown with the reverse layup gets it to go and keeps the lead at 11. Such a consistent scorer, Tanner Brown. He's hit big threes, and that time faked the long ball and got to the cup. Seiki can't believe he's called for a foul that time. Tanner Brown up to 14 points on 3 of 4 shooting, 6 of 6 on free throws. AJ Clark likewise very efficient, 4 of 5 from the floor for 12 points. Rendall on the line for a 1-and-1, gets the first one to go. Chance to cut it to single digits here with 3.5 to go. One of 2 at the line as that one rims out. Clark secures the rebound. And the pressure is higher up the court for Schreiner. Forces a bad giveaway that time from A.J. Clark. Uncharacteristic from the Tigers point guard. De Hoyos will pull for 3, looking to take advantage. Comes up short. Lippman tosses it ahead to Seiki. He's 1-against-1 with Pinter, who has 4 fouls, but did enough to force the miss from Enzo Seiki. Transfer from UCCS. Came up off the mark that time. Pinter, catch and shoot for 3, comes up short as well. And Lippman secures the board. Schreiner getting open looks and forcing turnovers, but they're not knocking down the shots they need to here if they're going to have any chance to get back into the game. Clark from Hanley into the paint for Seiki. Good post move that time, counted, and a foul. Seiki may have struggled from the outside shooting today, but once he gets in down low, he's so tough to contain, and you saw it there as he finished through contact, and he'll get a chance to make his 3rd free throw of the game. 82-69, 13 points the advantage for Trinity, their biggest of the game. They've built it at just the right time, and A.J. Clark steals the inbounds pass and calls a timeout. And we will take it with him and be right back with you for the final 2:35 in just a moment. So a 13-point lead to defend here for Trinity and the ball after A.J. Clark stole the inbounds pass. And you got to think any basket here would probably be the nail in the coffin for Schreiner and their search for a 2nd conference victory this season. Be a quick turnaround. We'll be right back at it tomorrow at 4 o'clock between these 2 teams, 1 o'clock for the women's game. So we'll see what adjustments the 2 coaches make. As Trinity just looking to use the entire shot clock here. Jenkins into the lane, kicks it out. Seiki for 3. And foul underneath. Goes against Schreiner, sending A.J. Clark to the line. The chance really to seal the game. Andrew Sparks fouls out of the game. 2nd Schreiner player to do so after Dorian Williams. And into the game comes Aries Frederick.
At the line for Trinity, A.J. Clark, 2 shots.
Pinter and Jenkins out there right now playing with 4 fouls. It shouldn't matter, as they're actually the two getting into it. They're drawing at each other from the block. First one was good for A.J. Clark. He's now 5 of 7 from the free throw line tonight. 15-point advantage. And what has gone from a lead to a probable margin of victory continues to swell for Trinity. Rendall gets it to go, and a quick timeout for Schreiner. With 2:01 to go, he'll take it before he loses it. 13-point lead for the home team. .201 to play here. 13-point advantage for Trinity. Seiki, Hanley, Jenkins, Brown, and Clark on the floor. For the visitors, Van, De Hoyos, Pinter, Frederick, and Rendall. Brown draws the contact from Pinter, and he'll be the third Schreiner player to foul out of the game. We saw from the off, Coach El Rockabali not pleased with how the game was being officiated, and 3 of his players have had to sit down for the remainder of this game with 5 fouls. So that will probably add to his case. Brown, though, did well to draw the contact there on the inbounds pass. And is now 7 of 7 from the line. Trinity up above 75% as a team. They're shooting 67% as a team coming into this game. Look to finish above that today for sure, after 2 makes from Brown. Jockeying for position underneath. They're going to get Rendall for a foul. And make it Seiki. That sends Rendall to the line. A couple of Tiger seniors prepped and ready to check into the game, as Coach Smith seems confident about the result. Tyler Peavy and Lucas Oldham. Familiar faces for many Tiger fans. Get the final 2 minutes of this game. 2 makes for Rendall. And it's a 13-point deficit now for Schreiner to overcome. A.J. Clark, nearly a full court pass into Oldham. His first action. Brown, the long bounce pass to Hanley, and the Tigers pull it out. And they find Peavy underneath, who's straight into the game and straight into the points. And that'll get the bench going. A popular figure in the dressing room, Tyler Peavy. Gets 2 points that time on the feed from A.J. Clark, who's called for a foul here. Foul actually goes against Oldham. And Reichart Bloom will take and make the first of 2 shots. Schreiner answering in turn here, subbing in a senior of their own, Dylan Costantino. As both are good for Reichart Bloom. Clark splits the double team, finds Hanley. And the no-look pass from Oldham nearly caught Brown off guard. Senior to freshman. They were able to connect, but just barely. Hanley against a double team. Brown kicks it to Peavy, his favorite spot, the corner for 3. And we've seen that a few times from Tyler Peavy in his Trinity career. The corner 3 goes down, and he is 2 of 2 off the bench here late on. 91-75 for Trinity. They get the rebound this time, throw it ahead to Peavy. Surely not again. He steps out of bounds. And it wasn't going to go anyway. Trinity now with their highest scoring game of the season, just eclipsing their last matchup with Austin College on February 13th when they put up 89, now into the 90s for the first time under Coach Jimmy Smith, and doing so against one of his former teams in Schreiner. Van getting to the hoop and scoring with the left hand, thrown ahead to Peavy, and he's got a quick 7 points off the bench. Surely not double digits. Surely it couldn't happen for Tyler Peavy. He's defending here. And make no mistake, these are not just courtesy minutes from Coach Smith. He could very well earn his way back into the rotation for Trinity, heading into the final stretch of what is most likely his final season on campus. He's doing everything he can, you have to say. Tanner Brown not going to be able to dribble it out of Schreiner, keep the pressure up despite the 16-point gap between the teams. They're going to give Peavy a chance maybe to go for 10 points. No, he dribbles through the double team and loses control of it. Final shot goes to Schreiner. It's no good, and Trinity stay on top of the SCAC. Now 7-1 this season and on a 7-game rip-roaring win streak. They defeat Coach Smith's former school, Schreiner University, and they exercise some demons from last season, the team that knocked them out of contention in the SCAC and knocked them out of the tournament as well. The final box score for Schreiner has Rendall leading the way at 19 points on 6 of 9 shooting and 7 of 8 from the free throw line, adding 9 rebounds as well. Van also in double figures with 11, Pinter with 15, and Williams, Pinter, and Sparks all foul out in the losing effort for the Mountaineers. For Trinity, very different story. Everyone stays on the court the entire game. Jenkins the closest with 4 fouls, but in terms of scoring, Tanner Brown, who else, led the way. 16 points on 3 of 4 shooting, 8 of 8 from the free throw line. Hanley adding 15 on 5 of 11. Clark 14, as well as 7 rebounds and 5 assists. Enzo Seiki 13 points on 5 of 13 shooting. Trinity shoot 43% as a team, 50% in the second half, and they surge out to a comfortable 93-77 victory. Well, thanks for joining us today for a trifecta of Trinity victories. Women's basketball taking it 84-56, baseball taking it 3-1 over Southwestern, and men's basketball capping off a successful night with a 93-77 success against the Mountaineers. I'm Ryan Figert, and I thank you for joining us once again. We'll be back tomorrow, 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock tip-offs for the rematch between these two teams. See you then.